Hello and welcome. This is Notibot Yenji. In today's breaking news, we're bringing you a comprehensive recap of the latest developments from around the world. Turkey is engaging in diplomatic efforts with the UN, while Ukrainian President Zelensky is facing pressure from his allies to scale back attacks on Russian energy. The US is ramping up its military presence in the Middle East, and the Iran war is taking a dramatic turn. We'll also examine a significant challenge for Russian President Putin and a surprising partnership between Ukraine and Saudi Arabia. Let's dive in. In a meeting at the United Nations headquarters in New York, Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu engaged in discussions with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres. Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan recently spoke with UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres over the phone, discussing the ongoing situation in the Middle East. This conversation comes as the region has been on high alert since the US and Israel launched an air offensive on Iran on February 28. The attack, which has killed over 1,340 people, including former Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. Tehran has responded with drone and missile strikes targeting Israel, Jordan, Iraq, and countries hosting US military assets in the Gulf region. These attacks have caused casualties, damaged infrastructure, and disrupted global markets and aviation. The conflict has major implications for regional stability and global security. The US and its allies have launched a military operation in the region, which has raised concerns about the escalating violence and potential for wider conflict. Hakan Fidan's conversation with Guterres is seen as an attempt to find a diplomatic solution to the crisis. The Turkish foreign minister has long been a key player in regional diplomacy, and his efforts to bring the parties to the table are being closely watched. The situation in the Middle East matters because it has the potential to draw in more countries and escalate into a larger conflict. The UN Secretary-General's involvement is a sign that the international community is taking the crisis seriously and that efforts are being made to find a peaceful solution. It is a pressing issue, with significant implications for regional stability and global security. Following a surprise move by the Ukrainian government, President Volodymyr Zelensky has revealed that his allies have urged him to scale back his military efforts. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has revealed that his allies have urged him to scale back Ukraine's attacks on Russia's energy infrastructure amid the ongoing global fuel crisis. In a WhatsApp voice message, Zelensky stated that Ukraine would only cease its attacks if Russia stopped targeting its own energy sector. The comments come after a series of long-range Ukrainian strikes on Russia's energy sector, including the key oil export terminal at the port of Ust-Luga outside St. Petersburg. The attacks have sparked a global energy crisis, with surging prices triggered by the war in Iran and Tehran's effective closure of the Strait of Hormuz. The US has recently eased some sanctions on Russian oil, with China and India remaining the largest buyers of Russian crude oil, accounting for 85% of its exports in February. The EU is also a major buyer of Russian gas and LNG, with 34% and 49% of its imports coming from these sources, respectively. Zelensky's comments have significant implications for the global energy market, as Ukraine's deep strikes on Russian energy infrastructure have a closely guarded secret target. The impact of these attacks on Russia's energy sector is not publicly known, but their effects on global fuel prices are being felt. The situation highlights the complex web of relationships between Ukraine, Russia, and their allies, and the difficult choices that must be made in the pursuit of energy security. The situation will unfold. A new escalation in the complex conflict in the Middle East has seen the US deploy a significant military force, sparking concerns about regional instability. The United States has announced the deployment of hundreds of special operations personnel to the Middle East, with the amphibious assault ship USS Tripoli carrying 3,500 US troops reaching the area of responsibility of US Central Command in March 2026. According to a report by the New York Times, citing 2 US military officials, these elite units have not yet been assigned specific missions but could be deployed across several potential fronts, including the Strait of Hormuz, the Isfahan nuclear site, and Karg Island, which serves as the primary oil hub for Iran. The total U.S. troop presence in the region now exceeds 50,000, with 5,000 Marines and sailors recently stationed in the area to provide broader combat options. The Pentagon has also directed 2,000 soldiers from the 82nd Airborne Division to deploy within striking distance of Iran, where their exact location remains undisclosed. These forces could support ground operations alongside the Marines. The deployment comes as the United States and Israel have continued airstrikes on Iran since February 28, killing more than 1,340 people, including then Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei. The Strait of Hormuz closure has severely disrupted global oil flows, with around 20 million barrels normally transiting the waterway daily. The escalation of tensions in the region has raised concerns about the potential for further conflict. The deployment of U.S. Special Operations Forces to the Middle East is a significant development, highlighting the ongoing efforts to counter Iranian influence in the region. The increased military presence also underscores the growing tensions between the United States and Iran. As tensions between the U.S. and Iran continue to escalate, a key Republican senator is warning that military action could be just weeks away in the number of missiles it possesses. Rubio also emphasized that President Donald Trump has several options available to prevent Iran from controlling the Strait of Hormuz, a critical global oil choke point. The U.S. and Israel have been carrying out airstrikes on Iran since February 28, resulting in over 1,340 civilian and military casualties. Iran has retaliated with drone and missile strikes targeting Israel, Jordan, Iraq, and Gulf countries hosting U.S. military assets. The conflict has disrupted global markets, aviation, and has caused significant energy price increases. At least 13 U.S. service members have been killed in the conflict. The U.S. has sent Iran a 15-point plan to reduce tensions, but details of the plan have not been made public. The situation is concerning, as the Strait of Hormuz is a vital waterway for global oil shipments. The conflict has already had a significant impact on shipping and energy markets, and the situation remains fluid. The U.S. and its allies are working to address the crisis, but the situation remains tense. The international community is watching closely as the situation in the Middle East continues to unfold. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, Russia's relations with Iran are taking center stage, raising questions about President Putin's long-term strategy. A closer examination of the situation reveals a more complex picture. While the U.S.-Israeli alliance against Iran may benefit Russia in terms of shifting U.S. attention and resources to the Middle East, it's not a straightforward victory for Moscow. In reality, the U.S.'s more assertive foreign policy has exposed Russia's weaknesses and growing irrelevance. Moscow's influence in the region has been waning, as seen in its failed attempts to support its clients in Syria and Venezuela. The recent lifting of sanctions on Russian oil by the U.S. is a significant blow to the Kremlin's coffers, as it reduces the country's reliance on Western markets. This move also underscores the U.S.'s determination to contain Russian energy exports and limit its economic influence. Furthermore, the surge in oil prices, which has enriched the Kremlin, is largely driven by the U.S.-Iran conflict. The increased tensions have led to a sharp decline in oil exports from Iran, which has pushed prices up. However, this benefit for Russia is short-lived, as the U.S.'s sanctions on Russian oil are likely to be reinstated, limiting Russia's access to Western markets. In conclusion, while the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran may seem to benefit Russia, a closer look reveals a more nuanced picture. The U.S.'s more assertive foreign policy has exposed Russia's weaknesses, and the country's influence in the region is waning. The recent developments in oil prices and sanctions on Russian oil are significant blows to the Kremlin's coffers, and Russia's interests are likely to be further eroded in the coming months. Following a significant diplomatic breakthrough, Ukraine is set to strengthen its military capabilities with a major partnership with a key player in the global arms market. Ukraine has signed a deal with Saudi Arabia to share its drone defense expertise and technology in a bid to strengthen the protection of lives in the region. The agreement was announced by Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who said the deal would lay the foundation for future contracts, technological cooperation, and investment. Zelensky stated that the cooperation between Ukraine and Saudi Arabia would be mutually beneficial, as Saudi Arabia has capabilities that are of interest to Ukraine. The deal comes as Saudi Arabia faces the same type of ballistic missile and drone attacks from Iran that Ukraine has been resisting for over 4 years from Russia. Zelensky stated that Ukraine has experience in using drone technology and is willing to share this expertise with Saudi Arabia. In exchange, Ukraine is seeking assistance in defending against the ongoing Russian invasion. This deal highlights the growing importance of drone technology in regional security. Saudi Arabia's vulnerability to Iranian attacks has become increasingly apparent, and the agreement with Ukraine may provide a much-needed boost to its defenses. The involvement of Ukraine, a country that has been at the forefront of resisting Russian aggression, adds weight to the agreement. The deal also highlights the diplomatic efforts of Ukrainian President Zelensky, who has been actively seeking to strengthen ties with countries in the Middle East. His discussions with Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman also touched on reports of Russia's assistance to Iran's regime, as well as developments in the fuel market and energy cooperation. The agreement marks an important step in the region's efforts to strengthen its defenses against Iranian threats. That's all for today's news recap. Thank you for watching. We'll continue to bring you updates on the latest global developments. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest news and analysis. Stay informed, stay up to date, and we'll see you in the next video.